Welcome back to another episode. This episode is for all you investor types that are looking for an opportunity or a way to make some money with your existing mortgage. Today, we're going to be exploring the concept that's revolutionizing homeownership and rental opportunities, the secondary dwelling unit. Imagine a space within your home, but with a twist. It's not just another room, it's an entirely self-contained apartment, often referred to as a mortgage helper, an in-law suite, a granny flat, etc. These units are becoming increasingly popular here in Ottawa, and for good reason. I'm going to showcase what I found on MLS, showcase an example of a secondary dwelling unit, go through the math, and we're going to punch in some numbers on the calculator to showcase what $1 million can get you and what it means if you had a secondary dwelling unit. And of course, I'll showcase where you can find more information through the City of Ottawa and other resources, which I'll tag in the description below. So let's tackle it. All you investor types, I hope you enjoy. Let's go. Okay, welcome back everybody. First of all, the first point of distinction here is the difference between a duplex and a secondary dwelling unit. A duplex was purposefully built a mirror image, a left side and a right side, and you can see it when you look physically at the building itself. You will see that there are two physical units. Whereas a secondary dwelling unit is your home, but within your home has a separate apartment with its own living quarters, with its own bathroom, kitchen, and sleeping area. So that is the distinction between the two. So why should you care? So if you're a first-time home buyer struggling with mortgage payments, or you're just looking for additional income, or you and your family are considering multi-generational living, secondary dwelling units offer a flexible solution. So picture this. Like I said, it's a home within a home. It has a separate apartment with its own kitchen, bathroom, and living space. So the benefits for me on this one are obvious. Financially, it's a game changer. It offers a steady source of rental income. Plus, from a pure community perspective, you're offering safe and affordable housing in a city that is rapidly growing. So what we're going to do in this video is I'm going to get off the screen like this. I'm going to show you my computer screen. We're going to go through an example of a secondary dwelling unit. We'll do some math on the calculator, like I said off the top. And I'm going to forward you over some links at the City of Ottawa and others where you can get more information. So let's dive into my computer screen. Let's check out this secondary dwelling unit. All right, we are in or on my computer screen. So first of all, there is a link to the Ministry of Ontario. I will put that in the description below. As you can see here, add a second unit in your house. This particular website is pretty valuable. It talks about what is a secondary unit. A second unit is a self-contained dwelling unit with a private kitchen, bathroom facilities, and sleeping areas. So go through this particular section. It'll answer your basic information, but it will also tell you where to go to make an appointment with the city specifically and talk about zoning and bylaws and what you're going to need to do to potentially modify your existing home or purchase it from a developer that is already building a secondary unit within their floor plans, which I'm going to showcase for you a little bit later in this video. But this particular link, like I said, will be in the description below. It'll talk about the municipal zoning, getting a building permit. So again, if you are doing this on your own and you're modifying, you're going to need some permits. If you are purchasing a home with a secondary dwelling unit already built in, obviously they've done that work for you, so don't worry about that. And we'll go through, they'll talk about building inspections, like what the process is, building codes, and so on. What I did want to highlight here is you can see the picture on my screen. The duplexes are side by sides. The secondary dwelling units are often units in the basement, but they don't necessarily have to be within the basement. I would assume that probably 95% of the secondary dwelling unit opportunities are in the basement, but you can see on the screen here, if you had a second floor, you're dividing the walls, so you had an insulated wall, for example, in between, you can modify your upper part of your home, assuming you had separate living quarters, separate bathroom, and so on. So pretty cool. Also on this particular website, it talks about the room sizes. So the minimum square footage that is required to be considered secondary dwelling units. So again, your kitchen, your bathroom, and your bedroom, for example, have to fit certain requirements. It'll walk you through all of that. Okay, so I'll do that. And then before we get into the good stuff, I'll also showcase for you the City of Ottawa, a link specifically to adding an apartment or a secondary dwelling unit. This might be useful for you as well. It does tell you where to go to potentially get more information, and there's multiple offices throughout the city where you can go and plan a follow-up scheduled meeting. So what I wanted to showcase for you is if you go to my website, so markbelangerrealty.com, this is the landing page on my personal website. You can see here that you're buying a home, you're selling a home, you're searching for properties. You also have unique searches. If I click on unique searches here, screen will pop up and you're presented with a form. If you're looking for something that is just a little bit more unique, like a secondary dwelling unit, for example, fill out this form with your name and your email address, and right in this message box, tell me the number of the report below, which I'm going to showcase right now, uniquely created property searches or reports that'll be sent right to your inbox. So in this form, just say, for example, that you want daily, weekly, or monthly emails sent to you. And in this example, we're going to say secondary dwelling units is number 6. So simply put up here, Mark, love to get a report on number 6 secondary dwelling units. This one, for the purposes of this video, you can see there's more. You can look at R4 zoning, what's been listed in the last 3 days or more, open houses within the city if that's something that you're interested in, bachelor studio properties, businesses for sale, and so on. So shameless plug from my perspective to my website, but today we're going to focus on secondary dwelling units. So you put that into the search and then let me send that to you on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. So that is part of the value add. I'd be very, very happy to do that. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna showcase, I did a video recently in Russell. And Russell, my parents live in Russell, and it's an up and coming suburb just outside of Ottawa. It's 30 minutes out of Ottawa, and it is booming. And I found this particular unit from a builder specifically who can sell you the home with secondary dwelling units already baked into the plan. So let's dive into it. First of all, I'm going to showcase the listing. This is a $1 million home. So it's in Russell, Ontario. And immediately what you can see here is the garage. Let me just click on the actual first image here. This particular garage is separated between the owners or the residents on the upper half and the lower half. So presumably the people living upstairs will have the 2-car garage, and the secondary dwelling unit, the person downstairs in this particular model, is a 1-bedroom. They'll have the garage on the left dedicated to them specifically, which is pretty cool. People might want to consider for their parents, for example. I am in my 50s and I have to start considering what is going to happen eventually if one of my parents pass. What happens to the second parent? This is a nice option to give them their dignity, have them downstairs, give them a garage, a nice warm car in the middle of the wintertime with a separate entrance to get them to their units downstairs. So let's just check through some of the photos on this one. So pretty standard. This is one of the builders here in Russell. Very white. You can see the tile flooring, hardwood floors. I'll go through this pretty quickly here. Pretty standard, nice pantry. The upstairs is pretty standard. Again, this is a 3-bedroom unit on the upstairs with a 2-car garage. There's your bathroom, your shower, your walk-in closet. So not bad for $1 million. And let's get to the basement. Here, let's just pause the video a little bit. Your secondary entrance, your second entrance, your unique entrance into this particular home, down to the downstairs finished apartment. Here it's all roughed in for you. Again, your living quarters, your bathroom, your bedroom. This one is not finished, but obviously they'll finish the ceiling as we get a little bit closer. And this is a builder. Let me just get out of this. And this is a builder in Russell called Corvinelli Homes. So there are a few big builders here in Russell, and if Corvinelli is listening to this video, why don't you reach out to me? Why don't we actually do a physical walkthrough of this particular unit? Because you'll notice that Corvinelli Homes not only has this particular unit, but you can see the data sheet here. There's a Capri, there's these Capri multi-generational with a secondary dwelling unit downstairs. You scroll down, there's the Winchester, there's the Tuscany multi-generational. This was the home that we were just looking at. 718 square feet, 1 bedroom, needs an oversized lot. Okay, no kidding. You've got 2 sets of cars, 2 sets of families, and lots of elbow room needed for this particular home. But again, very cool. The builder is already considering that this is something that you might want to do because, again, multi-generational or just anybody starting out as a first-time home buyer, this is a $1 million property. $1 million, but you get that secondary unit will help anybody who's looking to get into the market. So what I want to do is I want to go back to my particular website. So let's go back to marcbelangerrealty.com. We're going to go to the, instead of the unique searches, let's go into the resources tab. Another shameless plug on my website, by the way. Let's just figure out what this would cost. So it was just over $1 million asking price, or listing price is $1,030,000. So that's that. Hit go, and the down payment, let's assume we're going to put a 20% down payment. So there's 200 grand. There's the balance. There's the mortgage that's required, $800,000. This is a significant chunk of change. If we look at the amortization period, let's just assume we're going to put 25 years. And we're going to select a rate. And from my case, I'll just select Bank of Montreal. You can kind of play around with this. This particular mortgage is going to carry for $4,882. So call it $5 grand. You've got property tax, you've got a whole bunch of other sort of ancillary costs that you got to really consider. $5,000 is the key number to remember. So let's pause for a second. I'm going to get out of this screen and I'm going to show you something else. So let's do that right now. All right, we're back, and I wanted to showcase one more thing on this video. You can see in the top left corner, CTV News here in Ottawa put out a report in December of 2023 titled, "Here's How Much It Costs to Rent an Apartment in Ottawa in December 2023. So at time of recording this particular video, from me personally, we are in February. So this particular this particular article was probably written about 6 weeks ago or so, plus or minus a little bit. So about 6 weeks. This has a video on it. It's about 1.5 minutes. I'll put the entire link to this article in the description below. So have a read at your spare time. All is good from that side. But what Josh Pringle is saying, or as he summarizes here, from a January rent report from rentals.ca or Urban Nation shows that the average cost to rent a purpose-built apartment or condo in Ottawa was $2,228 in December 2023. $2,228. If you scroll down, you can see here a 1-bedroom condo last month, $2,069. Again, in Ottawa, $2,069 for a 1-bedroom condo. Now, I'm going to argue the example that we've shown before, a brand new unit with a brand new secondary dwelling unit. Yes, it's in Russell. Yes, it's 30 minutes from the downtown core. I'm arguing that this is not an average rental, that it is above average rental because you have your own parking, you have your own garage, which everybody wants in the wintertime here. You have your own separate entrance to your own separate unit. And even if we were to use $2,000 as our gauge, our rental gauge, you're now taking that $800,000 mortgage that we had just talked about previously. $5,000 was the carrying cost minus your $2,000. And now suddenly it's a little bit more affordable. it is now $3,000 to carry an $800,000 mortgage with this particular secondary dwelling unit mortgage helper. So you can see why people are considering this. I am giving full praise to this particular builder. I like that they're doing this. I like that they have multiple choices. You saw on the menu. Let's go and check out Russell, and let's go check the secondary dwelling units specifically. You saw on my webpage, on my website, markbelangerrealty.com. Let me put secondary dwelling units in a search for you. I'll push it out to your email either every day, every week, or every month. Let's go visit this particular builder, and I'm hoping they're watching, and at some point we can interview them as well and discuss the advantages of secondary dwelling units. Are they selling out? How's it going? What's been the feedback? And generally, we can kind of make our own conclusions from this point, but I think everybody would understand why this is so popular today with today's interest rates and with today's cost of living. So I hope this video helped. If it has, please consider giving me a thumbs up. I say it all the time. You know how this works. The more thumbs up, the more people that like it, the more that Google then pushes it out to other people. So I would really, really appreciate that. Go to my website, markbelangerrealty.com, schedule a meeting with me. Let's go tour this particular builder together. Let's go tour Russell. I did a video on Russell. It's an up and coming neighborhood with potentially everything you're looking for, secondary dwelling unit wise. So thank you, and I appreciate it. And until the next video, take care.